When it comes to social interaction, speaking to lots of people, or speaking in public, is one of the things that many people find terrifying. And I've just finished last week doing one of my biggest jobs of the year in front of 550 people. And I've got one tip that could help you if you find public speaking terrifying too. My name is Jonathan Bradshaw and welcome to this week's Meetology Minute. It's hello this week from Oklahoma, Tornado Alley. Crazy weather over here. Lots of tornadoes, lots of flooding unusually. So a bit of a scary place to be honest, but all good so far in terms of not being hit by one myself. Now, I was in Germany last week. You may know if you watched last week's Meetology Minute. What I was doing there was speaking on meetology at a trade show called IMEX, yes. But I also did something I don't do very often, which I'm basing this week's Meetology Minute on, which is be an MC. I hosted a gala dinner and awards ceremony in front of about 550 people. Now, when I speak on meetology, I don't tend to get nervous now. It's my subject, I know the content, I've got confidence anyway. But I really step outside my comfort zone when I'm an MC and a host. I don't do that very often. In fact, generally 3 or 4 times a year, if that. And this certainly is the biggest event I do when I'm being an MC. So a couple of things that I did in terms of overcoming nerves. I mentioned a few weeks ago that neuroscience suggests that clenching your left fist can help with nerves. Interesting stuff. This week, I'm not actually going to base my 2 insights on research, just my own experience. When I went out in front of 600 people almost on the Alta Oper stage. The fantastic gala dinner was held at the Opera House in Frankfurt. When I walked out, I did 2 things. First of all, my stomach was tight, as well as the suit being a little bit tight, if I'm honest. I always find that confidence comes from here. I turn my abs on, turn my core muscles on. They're solid, if I can get them solid. That's really important that for me, I'm grounded here. So that helps my stature, that helps my posture. For me, confidence comes from deep in the diaphragm here. The second thing I do that I can't show you really easily is I touch my forefingers together. I put a couple of photos on Twitter the other day of me presenting there at the gala dinner. And you'll see that both hands are pulled together, a bit lower than this, but so I can show you. And my forefingers and thumb are just touching. So imagine both my hands together now. They're just like that. They're just touching each other. That tends to help me. That's a grounding anchor. When I'm feeling calm and confident, I tend to put my fingers together. Then when I put my fingers together, I tend to feel calm and confident. I'm creating that neurological link, that anchor that makes me feel calm and confident. That really works for me. So a couple of things that you might want to try. Try and find your own physical anchor that helps you find the emotional state if you're public speaking and presenting and you're getting nervous. And also experiment with the fact that down here in your diaphragm, in your core, for me, is where confidence comes from. And if I'm tight there, if I feel grounded, I feel good and I can overcome the nerves. Because I was terrified, believe me. I always am when I do that job. Anyway, I'm exhausted, I'll be honest with you. I'm going to make this short and sweet. I'll be back in the UK next week for another Meetology Minute, exploring the fascinating science powering world-class people skills. Often it's just face-to-face interaction. Today I'm focusing on speaking to people socially in a group setting, so presenting. So if you do that, I hope those 2 insights from my experience last week are of use. See you next week. Until then, have a great 7 days. Take care. Bye-bye.